Hello friends and welcome back. I'm Anna Delman. It is day number 180 of my note writing journey. My note for today: so where am I with my experiences akin to those described in Psalm 42? How am I with forgiveness? How am I doing with restoration, which is the result we always hope for after forgiveness? And how am I doing with joy, peace and hope? And how did I get to those positions? So forgiveness, check. Yes, friends, every now and then when we think negativity or something, we do need to go back to God and say that's come to mind again, and ask Him for our forgiveness for keeping to bring those things back to mind. Now, it means also for forgiving other people, but once we've come to understand that that is our first obligation, and it causes negative heart moments for us and negative functioning ability in our lives, it becomes, and we hold on to it so tightly, it becomes our sin towards God. So we need to say, Lord, I'm asking for forgiveness, help me to let go of that, etc. And then at the same time, Lord, please help me, I'm still holding on to that begrudgingly of what was done. I have forgiven, help me to forgive every time it comes to mind. And if you have to do that 50 times a day for a year, and then 10 times a day for a year, and the next year 2 times a day it is an ongoing process. It's not an event, it's a process, it's a journey. So how am I doing with forgiveness towards those who offended me? I have forgiven them. They seldom come to mind, and when they do, it is with I feel bad for them because they did know what they do, but they don't fully understand it. They will want to justify their positions, and as long as they're doing that, I can't change that. I can forgive them and leave them. Forgive and leave. That is not an act of unforgiveness, it's a lack of wisdom. And then restoration, no, there has been no restoration. There can't be restoration if people continue to think you are in the wrong, and that they then expect you to lie so that they can feel justified. Not going to happen. So sadly, there cannot be restoration. And then the joy, peace and the hope is a result of having been forgiven, forgiving, and then how do we do that? How do we accomplish all of that? Because we know the truth and we have the faith to do so. Now, friends, as you are struggling somewhere in this text, in this being your life, know that it may be there as mine 10, 12 years. That may be what you are left with to deal with. And it is not a fun place to be. You are alone. However, you are not alone because you have your Father who's with you to comfort you, guide you, and give you joy. That is something we need to fight for at all times, friends. For many years, I've lamented on here before, as I've shared over the past 180 days, that not one person stood up for me. And that is true. No one ever did. I do not think that they have the courage or the backbone to deal with what all occurred in a biblical, godly way, and what their character, their traditions, to put them aside of what manhood is and take on what the biblical role of model of manhood should be, and live that out. I don't think they know that there's a difference. I certainly cannot teach them. Are they open to being taught? No, I don't think so. So why am I bringing this up? Is that part of my still digging in the knives and being angry and hurt, etc.? No, not at all. It was towards the close of last year, the beginning of this year, so there's like maybe a 4 or 5 month period of time where I was out and about and still struggling, recovering from surgery, and couldn't lift bags, couldn't lift my shopping that was more than £1. And somebody communicated with me, approached me and said, had I heard that the person who was most senior out of that group of leaders at that time was leaving, had left, gone, and had done something so nasty that the leaders at that time, and now the new leaders that had also come into place, were so upset and so hurt. Did I know about it? And I said, no. Can I tell you about it? I said, no, I don't want to know. No one wanted to know and deal with the truth then. Why should I allow them to understand anything different from what they chose to believe back then? Was that being hard-hearted? No. A lot of those transitional leaders at that time who are now more in prominent roles, some of them, particularly one, knew truthful aspects of what occurred, yet chose not to stand up for me. Chose it actively. Had one person had the courage to stand up correctly, how much? And how further can I justify that, friends? God equipped me with a marvelous, excellent education, which I thought I would come back here and share with everybody else. I would let them know what I learned. I would contact people so that they could have the same information as I had, the same books, everything. And I tried to do that, and it started to work out. And then the leadership, one particular, the central one, asked for things, resulting to those who were involved in it. He made it into the nastiness and then made it out to be me. I believe God brought me back here to do something like that. When those people weren't able to stand strong and true and do what was right, those who are now in leadership, God used me in another way. And I did tons of research and helped build up instructional materials for the most, no matter where in the world you are, the most unfortunate, the weakest of us, those with intellectual disabilities. And I was able to work in that area and get stuff constructed and developed in conjunction with others for that. So God's already used my experiences, etc., and gifted it to those who weren't able to, in what was supposed we call emotional maturity, by those who are supposedly normally able, and those who have a different normal. They received it with far more greater, not the same material, but similar, and were blessed by it. So when somebody came to me and said that the main person has now gone and done something negative, etc., and people are very upset and offended, well, find a way to deal with it. Maybe now you will learn what that's like, and maybe this will make the man out of you, which you were too stubborn to learn and to observe and question and challenge way back then. No animosity in that statement, but so where am I here? I am grateful for everything that has occurred. Was it fun? Was it good? Was it nice? No. And like with your situations in life, are they good? Are they fun? Are they nice? No. But you have a God who's with you through them all. And like C.S. Lewis quotes at the very bottom that I have written in green, and I have said it before, our cause is never more in danger than when a human, no longer desiring but intending to do our enemy, that's referring to God's will, looks around upon a universe from which every trace of him, God, seems to have vanished, and asks why he has been forsaken, and still obeys. Friends, your life and circumstances may be very hard and difficult, whichever neck of the woods you are in, but still you are able to bow down and say, yes, Lord, and do his will. That doesn't mean that you restore in relationships to those who you've forgiven to different things. Once you've forgiven, often it means in wisdom, go your way. Friends, until day 181, I am so grateful God has given me the time over and over and over again to sort this out and work this out and wrestle it for myself. And I hope you are encouraged to do the same for yourself. Until tomorrow, day 181, take care and God bless, and we will talk again. Bye-bye for now.